Good evening, everyone. It's Deaconess Elizabeth, and it is Friday, June the 3rd, and I'm coming to you a little bit later today with our daily devotions. Our devotion today is going to be from Luke, the 20th chapter. We're going to start at verse 20, so if you'd like to follow along, you may turn there now. Keeping a close watch on him, they sent spies who pretended to be honest. They hoped to catch Jesus in something he said so that they might hand him over to the power and authority of the governor. So the spies questioned him. "Teacher, we know that you speak and teach what is right and that you do not show partiality, but teach the way of God in accordance with the truth. Is it right for us to pay taxes to Caesar or not?" He saw through their duplicity and said to them, "Show me a denarius. Whose portrait and inscription are on it?" "Caesar's," they replied. He said to them, "Then give to Caesar what is Caesar's, and to God what is God's." They were unable to trap him in what he said there in public. And astonished by his answer, they became silent. Some of the Sadducees, who say there is no resurrection, came to Jesus with a question. "Teacher," they said, "Moses wrote for us that if a man's brother dies and leaves a wife but no children, the man must marry the widow and have children for his brother. Now there were 7 brothers. The first one married a woman and died childless. The second and then the third married her, and in the same way the 7 died, leaving no children. Finally the woman died too. Now then, at the resurrection, whose wife will she be, since the 7 were married to her?" Jesus replied, "The people of this age marry and are given in marriage. But those who are considered worthy of taking part in that age and in the resurrection from the dead will neither marry nor be given in marriage, and they can no longer die, for they are like the angels. They are God's children, since they are children of the resurrection. But in the account of the bush, even Moses showed that the dead rise, for he calls the Lord the God of Abraham and the God of Isaac and the God of Jacob. He is not the God of the dead, but of the living, for to him all are alive." Some of the teachers of the law responded, "Well said, teacher," and no one dared to ask him any more questions. So that is going to be our reading for today. And so we have here right away the teachers of the law and chief priests looking for a way to trap Jesus and what he says and what he does, and they're looking for a way to arrest him. And so they come to him with this question about taxes, and Jesus looks at the denarius and says, "Well, whose inscription is this, or whose portrait is this?" And they said, "Caesar's," and he says, "Give to Caesar's what is Caesar's, and then to God what is God's." And in that way, they were not able to trap him. And then again, we also have here then some of the Sadducees who are also trying to test Jesus, and the Sadducees don't even believe in a resurrection, but they pose a question to Jesus about the resurrection, specifically about marriage, and if each of these brothers die after they marry the same woman, whose wife will she be in the resurrection? And Jesus replies that in the resurrection, they will neither marry nor be given in marriage, and so that wasn't. And he said, he continues with, "They are all God's children, since they are children of the resurrection." And so in that way, he responded to them, and and it says in verse 40 that no one dared to ask him any more questions. So both times Jesus gave an answer, and in both times they were trying to trap him, but. Alrighty, so that was our reading, and our hymn today is going to be hymn 886, "The Day Thou Gavest." It's an evening hymn, and we are going to sing the first verse. "The day thou gavest, Lord, is ended. The darkness falls at thy behest. To thee our morning hymns ascended. Thy praise shall sanctify our rest." And we'll conclude with the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. Well, thank you for joining me for today's daily devotions. Just a few announcements looking ahead to this weekend. Again, we hope to see many of you in church on Sunday for our Sunday school at 9:15 and church service at 10:30. And then looking ahead to this week, on Tuesday, we will be having our women's Bible study at our normal time, 1 o'clock. That'll be here in East Hall, and all women are welcome to join us if you're available. We'd love to have you. And on Wednesday, we will not be having youth night that evening, but there will still be choir practice at 7:30 at the normal time. So those are the announcements that I have for today. So I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your Friday.